What'd you do this week?
Oh, this week, man, I haven't done much. Started off pretty rough. Sunday night, I was trying to do way too much, and I thought taxes were due on the 4th, and
Oh yeah, my sister-in-law does all my taxes.
could she help me out, you think?
They're due on the 4th. I thought they were due on the 15th.
18th.
Okay.
I was wrong.
Yeah, she did. She does ours.
Yeah, no, this year's kind of rough for me because circumstances.
Oh yeah, you got to pay him.
It's the first time I've ever had to pay, and I'm like, it's not a small amount, so I'm like, okay, I'm kind of dwindling it down to the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to do that. I was trying to do something for work, and I was trying to do. There's one more thing I was trying to do. All the while, and then I was just like freaking out, and then I was like, you know what? I need to go to bed. I went to bed, listen to some Biden, calm down a lot. Go to work on Monday. Got Employee of the Month,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like,
Do you get like a picture or something?
no, I just got a parking space in the front of the building for a month. Not saying that I'm ungrateful. My mood was so
Right.
my mood was so like out of it because of just overthinking, right? You know about that.
Yeah.
That I was just like, yeah, thank you. Like I was super grateful, but I was just deflecting it to everybody's like, hey, you well deserved. I'm like, yeah, I couldn't do it without all the people around me. Without you.
Yeah.
I was, doing that, which is right. I mean, it's true. I
Right.
just didn't feel. I'm like, I don't know. But then it's recognition for doing a good job, and I'm like, yeah, I get it.
I hate that employee of the month stuff. When I delivered beer, they had driver of the quarter.
Did you ever get it?
No.
Is that why you hate it?
Yeah, because it was very political.
Really?
Yeah. And because there was this set of guidelines and things that you went by and going above and beyond your job and
How do you do that driving a beer truck?
Oh, just there was different things that was required of you of your job, like you had to fill out a logbook. You turn that logbook in every day. You had to bring back checks. You bring back cash, and then you filled out a deposit slip. And then if you checked in perfectly with the office, every day, and then you had to check your truck in every day.
Yeah.
If your truck checked in perfect every day, because there would be shortages or there'd be broken stuff that fell off the pallets. So your goal was to have the smallest breakage number at the end of the quarter, which is 3 months. Perfect check-ins. You would get back, and then if you went out and helped another driver so they could get done, paperwork, all that. So everything was done perfectly. And so as soon as the meeting was over and they announced that person, for me, I'm like, well, I'm going to get it next time because I'm going to do everything perfect.
Yeah.
Get back at a good time. Paperwork was always perfect. I did the overnight route, so I made sure. And you had to rotate your beer, so there was always people behind you kind of looking at that stuff, make sure how much old beer you got coming back. And so I would do perfect, like flawless.
Your best.
And then the next quarter would come, and they always built it up. This guy, he's always got a smile on his face, and blah-da-da-da, and I'm just like, and it would sound like it was going to be me.
Dang.
And then they would announce the guy who got it, and it would always be the guy that got it last time.
The same guy?
And then okay. So then another 3 months, here was another company meeting announcing it. It's either the same guy or somebody, and then I'm like, when I started realizing it was a flawed system, is I started becoming friends with everybody and seeing their performance.
Yeah.
And it being less than what I was doing, and there have more break it or whatever, but there was always one little thing that they'd be like, bye, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Dang.
And for 10 years. And then they would always, and it was my cousin that would announce. And then it was always, I would always get all the praises saying to me. The owners of the company taking me pheasant hunting, giving me prizes, doing all this stuff.
So you kind of got employee of the month.
But none of that mattered because I wanted my name on the plaque.
You wanted your picture.
And they had in this glass case all these plaques with these names with the year. And then at the end of the year, they would announce the driver of the year. And then you got $1,000 bonus. And,
ooh, that's the one.
But you knew you weren't even going to be in the running for driver of the year if you never even got driver of the quarter. And so I would try so hard. And like I said, I would come in on weekends and help the draft department go out and clean draft lines. I would step in and take over for people on vacation on the weekends. Yeah. The sales department.
Above and beyond.
Oh, 150%. The owners would give me hugs, call me nicknames, take me on trips, Never once did my name ever end up on that plaque, and they wonder why I got arrested the day I got fired.
Yeah. And you got fired.
I would win the truck rodeos, the safety rodeos. I would do my name, and it was always the same.
Same dude?
Yeah, and I'm like, and then you'd go ask, and they'd be like, well, see, one day you, and I'm like,
keep it up.
And I always, but I had to stay overnight too, so that there was a whole day where I wasn't even there.
Yeah, he was a day shift guy that always got it, probably.
Well, I had to stay out of town, overnight, so.
Oh.
Wednesdays, I was never at the shop.
And this guy probably was.
Oh, every day, everybody else was, but
It's one of those things. I mean, is it really worth it? A parking space or your picture on the wall?
I've
got it two times, but it's never been like,
I think it was
huge thing.
I just wanted somebody to sing my praises.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be known for something. Yeah. And that's what drove me. I would always nobody was going to outwork me.
That's my
I used to listen to those motivational tracks on YouTube all the time on my way to work, and there was one, and that was Will Smith, and he's all talking about how he made it and this and that. And my number one rule I had in Hollywood was nobody will ever outwork me. You might be tougher than me, you might be faster than me, but you will never outwork me. And I was like,
that's me.
I want to write him a letter and be like, well,
just slap Chris Rock.
Crap. Yeah.
Sorry, Will, we love you, but why'd you slap him? It was rude. Violence is not the answer.
So, yeah. But no, that's congratulations on your Employee of the Month.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I've never got Employee of the Month, and I'm probably never going to get Employee of the Month, especially.
Well, guess what? I'm going to put in a good word here at Street Smart Christian for you. Because you've gone above and beyond. You definitely do much more than I do. And you keep this thing afloat, man.
They don't put my picture here either.
I mean, I might try and make it happen for you, brother. No, but for real, man. I mean,
it's all worldly. It's all that. Yeah, it's that thing that
recognition
that has been instilled in all of our brains that we need to be recognized for something.
Yeah.
Social media. That's all social media is about. We want to be recognized for whether it's putting a funny meme on there or a selfie.
That's where the best part comes in, is when you only want Christ to be the one getting the recognition for anything you've done.
Yeah.
There's that right there, dude. That's what I said to a lot of the people too. That I know, obviously I should have been saying it from the pulpit, but people are like, well, good job, well deserved. And I'm like, it was all Jesus and the people around me, and it's I mean that it's all Jesus. The skills that I have are not.
That brings up another point, how we're supposed to give all the praise to God, and that's what we obviously do now. But I remember they had a competition at our warehouse, and it was a beer delivery competition, and they put all these funny obstacles.
Course.
Yeah. And the guy who won it, he was making a joke about his acceptance speech, and he came up, and this guy's still a good friend of mine today. Very supportive of what we're doing here, but he went up.
Shout out.
And he said, hey, I just, first and foremost, I want to thank Marlboro cigarettes and Keystone beer.
Lung capacity.
Well, he's like, I want to thank Marlboro cigarettes and Keystone Light beer, because without the two, I wouldn't be where I am today. And then we all laughed so hard, but then later on life, he's like, I said that because those things have kept me down to being in a beer delivery competition. Like, that's where I'm getting my accolades at work.
Yeah.
Is that I'm winning an award for something I have to do every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that was something that I was always seeking, recognition.
Now, was it of your fellow coworkers or of your leadership? Or
everybody that I ran into, I wanted to be the center of attention. I wanted the focus to be on me and the great things that I did. Even when I first got into Christianity, I wanted that to be the focus point. I wanted everybody to be proud of me.
And know how good you did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he turned his life around for Christ. And, I was seeking that, and that didn't happen, but God made sure that didn't happen. Because that would have been for all the wrong reasons.
It puffs you up, dude.
For sure. So I was the one at the party getting just as drunk as everybody else, but preaching Jesus.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay.
Practice what you preach, bud.
Oh, man, yeah.
I was the same, dude.
It's rough. It's hard, and it's just like, well, I don't know what you're supposed to do, but now that I'm older in Christ, now it's like, okay, obviously that was wrong.
It really puts a different view on things when you no longer do the stuff you do for yourself. Like, that's where the root of it is for all of us.
It's a disappointment. I mean, when you're doing that, Jesus has to be disappointed, because you're like,
it's heartbreaking.
He's saving your life, but then all of a sudden you're just like, you're going down the same path, except you're using him as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it said in Luke 22:39, when Peter was like, no. And the first little girl, the Bible calls her a little girl.
Did it call it a little girl?
Is like, hey, you're one of those Jesus freaks. And he's like, hey, woman. No, I'm not. And you're like, dude, your homie's sitting right there. Like, what are you talking about? You know how easy it would have been for Jesus to turn around and say, that's Peter. He's been following me for this entire time.
He sat there in silence as
they
beat him and spit on him.
Well, they were trying him. The Pharisees were, and then Peter he's like, I'm gonna be your friend, but I'm gonna be your friend from a distance. And so then
that is such a sad.
It's a reality
story for me, because you look at Peter, and it was him and John, his star pupils, you know what I mean? His employees of the month, his disciples. He loved them, and he loved them all. He loved all of us, obviously.
Yeah.
But John and Peter were the stones, that he was betting on and lifting up, and John followed through. But Peter, the one that was the protector of the group and the loud one and the, saying everything, and not afraid to speak up and, not afraid to even challenge Jesus.
He tried to defend, when they arrested Jesus, he cut off that dude's ear.
And the first moment, his first instinct was...
and I'm pretty sure he would have killed that guy if nobody was holding him back.
Yeah.
Like, he would we don't know, but
then it all set in.
He was going to cut his head off.
The whole situation set in for Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, I just need to be close enough to see Jesus, make sure that they don't kill him right there or whatever he's thinking, right? And then
I think a little bit of him wanted, he was waiting for Jesus to prove himself, and to do something that
call the angel.
And I think he was actually Well, he says he's the son of God. Why is he even letting this happen? Let me see how this plays out.
Mm-hmm. But then,
meanwhile, trying to save his own
blown.
skin. Yeah, he tried to save his own skin, and then once that rooster crowed, and he was like, "Oh no, I done messed up now."
Just like you said it would be.
Yeah, and then I think that's when it all hit him like a ton of bricks. And he doesn't need to prove anything. He just proved it. He doesn't need to send down 10,000 angels to take out the Pharisees. He doesn't need... Everything that he said is going to happen is happening right now. We're watching that unfold, and I failed him.
These guys have seen it the whole time, bro.
Yeah, and then Peter, he's the, one of the very early influencers of the modern church right now. He was the, he went on to do great things because God's grace is so great that, even disappointing, you can disappoint Jesus. I don't recommend it, but he still doesn't give up on you. Yeah, we do it every day.
We've all done it.
Every day you get in a sticky situation. Mm-hmm. We struggle with it all the time, online.
In your thoughts, dude.
In your thoughts. Every part of your life, somebody starts pushing a little bit and you fold. Like you got the worst hand in Texas Hold'em. Mm-hmm. You just fold and you're out.
Yeah, you do. You want to stay there so you see what happens.
And then you come to church on Sunday and you're Superman again. You're like, oh,
yeah,
I'll fight for Christ till the day I die. As soon as you walk out them doors and somebody's like, hey, you want to go party? Yeah. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Maybe you're at church. No, I'm good. Maybe that's why roosters are crowing so much. Like roosters weren't even supposed to crow, but they are, and everybody thinks, oh, they're just telling us good morning.
Yeah, they're calling you out, bro.
Oh,
I'll fight a rooster, man. I don't trust those things.
I know I have to fight one every day. Every day of my life.
There used to be one outside of this trailer I lived in for a while. And it would in the middle of the night just start. I'm like looking up. I'm like, why would a rooster crow in the middle of the night? They're like, coyotes. I'm like, okay. So I go out there. I'm like checking. Yeah. Got a gun, and I'm like, I want to take out some coyotes. It got scary out there, so I went back in.
Yeah. Our rooster crows all day long.
At night?
I don't know. We lock him inside of a coop at night, and it's far away from the
because they do they're a good warning system, right?
Oh yeah,
for predators.
There's a reason why they're loud, but
that's what they're doing.
My rooster's name is Chanticleer. Chanticleer. Chanticleer.
French.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds like a jerk.
He is. I named him after a cartoon rooster on a cartoon called Rock-a-Doodle.
What?
There was a cartoon when I was a kid that came out around the same time like Five Goes West and all that. It was called Rock-a-Doodle, and it was about a rooster, and it was like
rock and roll
Elvis. Okay. Yeah.
I only know Foghorn Leghorn.
He was the greatest.
Right there, I'll say.
When people heard it, he was just crowing. But when the animal kingdom heard him,
he's rocking.
It's like a song, beautiful song. And then somebody tried to take it away from him, and oh no, the sun's not gonna come up unless you crow. I think, I don't know, I could be wrong, but yeah, this is a good movie. We watched it a lot when I was a kid, but that stuck with me. Chanticleer.
That was his name.
Yeah, so every morning I open the door and I yell, Chanticleer.
And you go, rock-a-doodle-doo.
No, he puffs up and he tries to attack me. Wow. So I'd have to take a stick with me all the time.
You just kick him?
No, I hold him out there and follow him around with the stick until I get the water and the food in. Then I move the stick really fast and shut the door. Sometimes he attacks the door. But now I think he's getting kind of used to me after about a year.
Really?
Yeah. He still tries to attack. I don't turn my back on him. I tripped and fell inside that coop one time.
You don't deny
him. And he came through the door. He came through his little hole like so fast. Dude, I thought I was going to meet Jesus. scared me so bad.
Yeah.
Like I thought, well, I'm gonna meet Jesus today. This rooster's gonna
By rooster.
Yeah, could attack my throat. But yeah. And then it says that when he denied him the third time, Jesus looked at him.
Yeah, in Luke.
And all that stuff went through his head.
I want to read that in the NIV.
Why do you have a different version of the Bible every week?
Why do you?
I've had the same one I've had like 2 since we've been on this podcast.
Okay. Just
It's so 30, it's probably 40.
60, right?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what you were talking about, Peter replied. Just as he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Then Peter remembered what the word the Lord had spoken to him. Before the rooster crows today, you
will deny that you
will
ever even
disown
knew
me 3 times. And
Yeah.
he went outside and wept bitterly.
Yeah, in the NLT it says you will deny 3 times that you even knew I existed.
Yeah.
And then weep bitterly. I mean, that means he was
So
probably
that's like
snot bubbles. And
that's a grown man.
Yeah.
That's like not pretty crying.
No, but how would you, I mean,
Oh, dude, I would be destroyed.
like I told those kids
I would be
tonight, you look at your
destroyed.
parents. Like I've done that before where I've just straight up denied anything.
Mm-hmm.
My parents knew exactly what happened. And then I look back and your parents just look at you like disappointed. Yeah.
Because the way that Jesus would have.
Could you imagine Jesus doing that? That's not your parents,
but
that's God.
But you knowing, dude, like you literally just did this thing that you said that you didn't do.
I know, but he was still struggling it.
To the face of God, you're like, I would never do that.
Oh yeah, knowing that you were Jesus' follower.
I would never do that to you.
You
and then
say that? Oh yeah.
Did it, and you're like,
crud.
do you imagine how your heart would just?
But
drop.
imagine it was that bad for him. Imagine how bad it was for Judas. He hung himself.
Oh, yeah, I can't even. I hate to think about what was going through that guy's head, man.
Like
That
he knew
scares
he
me,
messed
man.
up so bad that he hung himself.
He threw away the money that they gave him, and he tried to give it back.
Yeah, he tried to give it back, and they threw it back at
What?
him.
What is
And
that?
then he
done?
threw it at him.
What would that do? What does that do? Literally, you sold God for 30 pieces of
I'm
silver.
sure 30 pieces of silver is a lot more than
Well,
$30.
I know,
in it.
but still, bro, like
I don't think they truly all believed in their heart of hearts that he really was God. They knew he was a great guy and he was doing miraculous things, but I don't think they did see it. And
it
then
just wasn't until he came back.
it wasn't until prophecies started coming true that they were like,
until he rose from the dead.
oh yeah, that's when it hit home for Mark. That's when it
but
hit
that's when
James,
that's when they all went.
doubting Thomas.
That's what-
they all came back together because
And then
Peter
they
was
all-
like, hey guys, we done messed up big time.
We got to make it right.
John's probably gonna be like, oh, I told you guys.
so.
Yeah.
John, he's the OG here, but he's the most unrelatable one because
Right, but still, it's like they're probably just. Can you imagine? They're like, you ever been sitting in the principal's office, just like waiting for him to come in, and
dude,
you're just like,
too many times.
and so they're all hanging out, waiting. Like they're just like, oh my gosh, do you think he's mad?
yeah, like how is he going to
He
approach it this
forgives a
time?
lot, right? He did say forgive them on that cross, right? John. What did he did say? We don't know what we're doing, right? He said that, and then Thomas is like, well, I still ain't gonna believe it.
It don't matter now. What,
Yeah,
are we going to do now?
Jesus
Now we're
had
on
to
the
show Thomas the holes in his hands.
Now we're on the run. Now they're going to come after us, and we don't have Jesus here to protect us.
Yeah, well,
And then they're like, all sitting there, and then boom.
then here
dude,
comes Paul, and he's like, "You guys thought you messed up? I don't think any of you got drop kicked off your horse last night, did you?"
Gosh, man. You try to put yourself in those shoes.
And Jesus comes and he's like, just when you thought you knew who your friends were. Seriously, guys? You believe me now?
Yeah.
oh, you guys got something. I'm going to make sure you live a long time, but you got something coming.
Yeah, think about it, man. That's where it's like, we know Christ.
Yeah.
And we keep messing up. But that's the same.
Yeah, well, then
the apostles, they knew Christ and they kept messing
the apostles were like, hey, so we're going to get into heaven, right? And he's like, well, I already got a guy in there with me. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're all here. Yeah. It was a really bad guy I took in there.
Yeah.
He didn't deny me 3 times.
Yeah.
He didn't run away.
He only started
all he did
rough.
was like, all he did was say, Lord, will you remember me when you go into your kingdom?
Okay, I'm
you
sorry.
know what, big guy? Today, you will be with me in paradise.
Man.
Oh, really? But that's another thing. The thief on the cross, that's another big one that's also in the book of Luke, where they were scoffing at him and they were picking on him. And then the one guy said, if you're God like you say you are, why don't you get up off that cross? And matter of fact, why don't you help us down too? And the other thief said, hey, do you not see that this is God? Like, we deserve to be here. This guy didn't do anything. This guy did absolutely nothing to be here.
Yeah.
And he said, God, will you at least remember me when you go into your kingdom?
Yeah, here, I got it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm going to start it from one of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us. But the other criminal rebuked him. Don't you fear God, he said. Since you are under the same sentence, we are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus answered him, truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise.
Can you imagine being the thief on the cross? Okay, Jesus takes his last breath. The thief on the cross takes his last breath. They go into heaven. Jesus walks by.
How did that go again?
He walks right by the guards, like, and then here comes, and then the thief and the guards like, whoa. How did you get here?
Jesus like,
Jesus and the thief's like, I have no idea. Well, who said you could come? That guy. Who's that guy? The one that said he was the Messiah. He said I could come with him. I'm up here. Okay. When were you baptized? I wasn't. Do you have a church membership? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Show us your cards.
He's like, have you repented of your sins? I just asked if I could come. I told him I'm sorry. Have you done confession?
What's that?
Yeah. He's just, look, I murdered a whole bunch of people and then I was on a cross.
He's a thief, man. He wasn't a murderer.
No, the crucifixion wasn't for thieves. They call him the thief on the cross. Crucifixion was only execution in Rome where they put the worst of the worst of the worst. This guy was an elementary school shooter.
Oof. Oh.
We got to get real here.
Yeah.
It stings, I know, and I'm not saying that's okay.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about the level of criminal that these two guys were that were on a cross, this was the most brutal form.
He said, we deserve our punishment.
Yes, this was the most brutal form. Typically, they would stone you to death or they would just chop your head off in Rome. They just kill you real quick. These guys were tied up on a cross that took
nailed, bro.
Days. Oh, I don't know if they were nailed. They nailed Jesus, but I don't think they nailed them two guys. They used to tie him on there, and then they would just sit there.
Why would they change
and
for
their
those
weight?
Guys?
Well, they did it for Jesus because they thought he was going to get off. But if you look at every, and I don't know, we got to look, I'm not a theologian, but you look at every illustration in the Bible, Jesus is the only one nailed to the cross. The rest of them, in every depiction of the Passion of Christ, those guys are tied up there. I don't know if they got nails. And I could be wrong. Don't attack me on social media. I could be totally wrong. But either way, that was the most brutal form of punishment that the Romans had. So these guys had to do something really bad.
You'd have to hold yourself up, and then you would suffocate slowly if you
And this guy is not only did he get in with Jesus, he's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The angels are going, did you sneak in the back door? Like, oh. And then Jesus comes around and says, no, he's with me. But he didn't do any of the stuff that the religion tells us to do today. No, he's with me. So tell me again why we have to do all this crazy stuff that religion tells us that we have to do to get into heaven.
Yeah,
the guy never had water put on his head at all. Christ, all he ever says was,
in that moment,
I am the Son of God, and I was raised from the dead.
In that moment, that man saw what they did to him and knew this is the sacrifice for all of us.
That's why he set the tone for all of us. All Christ is doing is asking us to believe
in him and what he's done.
Accept him as their Lord and Savior. So that guy said, hey, can't you see? This is God. The other guy on the cross,
he didn't. Where did he go?
He didn't go to heaven.
Ooh.
In the movie, the crow starts eating his eyes out.
Really?
Yeah. Passion of Christ.
Dang, dude.
And he's like, and then it's supposed to be Satan. And then the other dude was like, first class ticket, VIP.
I mean, we make light of this, but
it's the truth, though.
I can't imagine.
Alistair Begg had a sermon that says, I can't wait till I get to heaven. And the first person I want to talk to is the thief on the cross and ask him, you mean tell me you didn't even have a church membership?
Yeah.
You didn't tithe? You didn't get baptized?
I mean, that's like you said, he was probably a mass murderer.
For sure. And he got in. Paul got in. All these bad people. And, I mean, there are bad people out there. And I'm not saying every one of them.
Well, yeah, because you look at the other guy. The other guy that did not turn from his ways. He was just as bad as the one, but he didn't go to heaven.
No.
Like, that's where people get hung up to, where they're like, well, their sin's unforgivable. They shouldn't go to heaven just because they say they know Christ.
It's not for us.
It's not for us to decide.
Christ died for everybody.
The relationship, man. We don't even know our own hearts, man. How can we know someone else's?
I don't know.
Someone can say all they want, that I do this, I do that, I go to church, I do this, I'm holier than thou. You can say it all you want. It means nothing.
No.
What means the most is what your heart is saying to God.
Yeah.
To Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're right, dude. We're right on the cusp of all this. Holy Week is such a raw reminder.
Yeah, apparently I put a post on Facebook to remind everybody how they should act during Holy Week.
What?
I put a post on Facebook apparently.
You
about
did?
Christianity being easy, and some of us just put ash on our face and then.
What? I'm missing this.
There's another one of those mornings I woke up and I was like, I didn't post that.
Oh, was something I posted?
Yeah, I hope so. You're the only other person that can.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You posted a thing about the do's and don'ts of Christianity. Like what makes you a Christian or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We got a good response, but...
It did?
Yeah.
Maybe I should just stay off of it.
No, it's fine. It's just... It says Adam Tipton posted, and I'm like, no, I didn't.
Oh, he gives you a crisis.
I mean, I don't...
Identity.
If it would be different if it I didn't trust what you posted. But Like you posted, I was like, I did not put Vody Bakum on here. I would have if I'd have seen it. But sometimes I have to have a conversation with myself in the morning, like, I did not do that 30 minutes ago. Yeah. I was sleeping 30 minutes ago. Yeah. But yeah, you had a thing of like, there was like 5 things.
I remember now.
Yeah.
Just keeping you on your toes, bro.
That's good.
I'm trying to do my part. Because like I said, you're the employee of the month for Street Smart Christian, bro. You're the employee of the lifetime for this company. It's not even a company.
Mm-mm.
This is just 2 guys.
I tried to get an account set up and they never called me back.
They didn't?
No. I just need to go back in there, but.
Next time you're in town.
I went to Walmart and bought another thing.
Yeah.
I use it at home on my desk.
Yeah. It's pretty bright in here.
Yeah, but before, it looked like we were in a dungeon.
Aren't we? No, we're on the 2nd floor of a church. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Easter Sunday. So you got to be here for both services.
Yeah, bright and early.
And your mom and dad.
You do too.
I can make that decision on my own.
What? What do you mean?
It depends on how I feel, really.
Dude, you're in both parts of the service.
We can cut. You don't have to have narration in the 2nd service. Yeah. There's always a joke that I have here, and I remember the first time I heard it. It didn't hit me till I was driving home. So Easter Sunday, for whatever reason, attendance in the church goes way through the roof, and everybody's in here. Hey, it's good to see you. Like they've been here every Sunday, but they were here last Easter. And the pastor went up, our pastor, and he said, hey, happy Resurrection Sunday. Good to see you guys. I haven't seen some of you in a while. Weird. Then he went on with the sermon. I was on my way home, and I was like, oh, man. So then when I took over announcements for the past couple of Easters, I just started doing that. and I look, every time I do announcements, I look at the pastor sitting in the front row, and he's always like, what are you doing?
I gotta learn this from you, dude.
Mm-hmm. I've asked him before because I've made him make some faces, and he's like, I'm like, dude, am I taking it too far? And he's like, no, it's awesome. I just wouldn't have said it. He's like, you're just saying what everybody's thinking.
He's said his fair share of off the wall things, but are like,
yeah,
needs to be said sometimes, man. It's not about beating around the bush or sugarcoating things. You gotta be calling people out, man. We're all full of it, dude. We are all full of it. We are all think that we're on a high horse, man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, get down. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get puffed up.
Church people are the worst.
And that's why it's such a stigma.
Yeah.
Such a stigma. Because it's like, well, if I go to this, people are going to look at me different. It's not about how these people look at you. It's about how Christ looks at you, man.
Yeah. Walk in a way that's pleasing
because
to Christ.
Think about like what you said tonight. When Peter and Jesus made eye contact after he denied him the 3rd time.
Mm-hmm.
The face that Jesus was making at him.
Yeah, I had to say, I'm
3
disappointed,
things.
but I love you, man.
Yeah. 2 to 3 things like that right there.
Do you believe me now? Yeah, I'm disappointed, but I still love you.
I still love you. And the shame that Peter felt from seeing that, like, man, you called it. You literally called me out on all of my BS. Literally, dude.
I'm going to have to bleep that out.
I said BS.
This is a children's program.
Oh, sorry. I mean, it stands for battleships.
Okay.
I don't know, dude. It's just, I am guilty of it. We're all guilty of it, man.
Yeah.
We have to remember what he did on this cross, and not just during this time.
Yeah.
Not just during this time, dude.
No.
Year round.
Yeah. Easter and Christmas Eve is not the only time church is open, people.
No, it's like,
And I explained that in one of my short videos. I said, you know what? I'm not saying that you have to go to church to be saved. That's not what I'm saying.
no.
What I'm saying is you need to get plugged into a church because you need to get fertilized. Your crops need fertilized.
When you truly
Your
start
fruit-
knowing
your
Christ,
fruit
you're going to
can't
want more.
ripen.
You're going to want more.
Yeah, you're going to, but there's still people out there that are like, oh, I don't know to go to no church building. I didn't say you had to, but if you want your fruit to flourish, you want the ripest fruit, you want the biggest fruit tree, then you better get your butt into a church and get with like-minded Christian people, because you're not going to get it on YouTube. You're not going to get it on TikTok. You're not going to get it by yourself or with your buddies on a construction site. That's a whole nother gospel that you don't want to get into. And you don't have to go to the first church that you come to on your block.
You got to find it, man.
You can find it, and I promise you will develop some of the best relationships you'll ever have in your life in there. I'm not saying that you have to become institutionalized inside of a church, but get it plugged into one and hang out with some people because they're worse than you.
Bro, we're called to just expand the kingdom of God.
Yeah. Well,
That's what finding the church that's for you. You're still going to run into disagreements. You're still going to run into hypocrites. You're that's not just a church. You do that where you work. You run into that where you work with your coworkers, with your friends, even people that you consider your friends that look at you and they're like, "You're not. What are you doing, man? You're not doing this. This isn't you." Like everywhere you go, the only person that will look at you with loving eyes even after you deny him 3 times. And in many, many more, it's Jesus.
Mr. Yeah.
Who are you?
No, Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers? I don't know, dude. It's just... It's a heavy week, guys, and I feel like we should all be remembering that.
Silly rabbit, Easter's not for rabbits.
Yeah, every year, man. Throughout the whole year, you got to remember that cross.
Come into church, shake somebody's hand.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
Get ringworm. Come to our church and I will tase you. Dude, I don't know why I want to tase them.
I want to tease somebody so bad. You want to talk crazy? You're going to sound crazy, all right? I'm sorry. I thought we were going to get through the whole episode. We almost did it, but I don't sound like a very good woman. No.
So we'll go to this because this is a little bit better.
As Apostle Paul said, for some it's just better not to marry.
If you're not married, stay unmarried.
Yep.
But if you can't control yourself,
Still.
yeah, well,
Thanks for joining us
yes.
for another episode of the Street Smart Christian. Make sure to check out
everything that SSC Ministries has to offer at www.streetsmartchristian1.com.
Yeah, and go see us on YouTube,
Facebook, Instagram,
Insta,
TikTok.
Yeah, you got a TikTok?
Yeah, we do. Check us out on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and anywhere your podcasts are streamed.
Anywhere you get podcasts, it's gonna
Go
be
to
there.
our website and get up to date.
Hey,
podcast
shout out
weekly.
to Zimbabwe. We
And
love you
India.
guys out there.
India.
India.
Zimbabwe.
India.
Yeah,
We love you guys.
they're not gonna listen to us after this.
I mean, it was kind of a heavier, heavier one today.
Hmm.
And Adam was drinking Pedialyte the whole time, so,
Yeah, and coffee.
and coffee. It's a weird mixture for a child.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
If you're gonna talk about it.
Be about it.
Yeah.